Continuing now with the Halachot of Chanukah. So yesterday we discussed the latest time to light Chanukah candles, the idea of Ad shetichle rega min hashuk, until people are walking in the street, and different practical ramifications based on how you understand the Gemara. The next following discussion after that, in chronological order, would be what's the exact procedure? When do we pray Arvit? Why is this a question? Because there's two things at fold here. Number one, we have an idea of Pirsum Hanes. When we light the Chanukah candles, we try to light it at close as possible to sunset or nightfall, because that is the most optimal time, according to all the Rishonim and the Poskim, to be Mefarsemet Hanes, to publicize the miracle, because that's when most people are in the streets. But on the contrary, on the second half, we have a concept of Tadir V'Sheno Tadir Kodem, something that's more frequent versus less frequent. The one that's more frequent gets priority. So meaning, Arvit we say 365 nights a year, or 354 if you do the lunar calendar. Chanukah is 8 nights a year. Arvit is more frequent. It should therefore get precedence to the Chanukah candles. So there's a big discussion in the poskim. It's all over the place. Just to bring the bottom line, according to Rav Adi Yosef and the Orlet Zion and Chacham Yosef Bar Shaul, they explain that the Sephardi minhag for many years has been to pray Arvit first, even slightly before nightfall, and then rush home and light the Chanukah candles at nightfall at the best possible time. Now, this discussion makes a lot of sense if someone is capable of praying Arvit as early as possible and then running home to light at the best possible time. Now, there's a big discussion. What about other people who are at work, who aren't home, who don't have the luxury of coming back home at 4:30, at 4:45 in the middle of a weekday to light the Chanukah candles? So the halakha explains that if you're lighting after the 30-minute window that we spoke about yesterday, once you're no longer within that window, that we lost the hidur, the extra stringency of the Rambam, who says you should ideally try to light in that 30-minute window. Once you're talking about 5:15 or 5:30 in New York, at that point, there's no difference if you light 6, 7, 8. Obviously, earlier the better, because then you have a higher chance of being Mefarsemet Hanes, of publicizing the miracle. But once you miss the Rambam's 30-minute window, there's no longer the idea of Pirsum Hanes according to the Rambam. And like we explained yesterday, the Rashba holds that you can light it at any time. They're not, the Gemara, we saw it in Masechet Shabbat, they don't contradict one another. So therefore, the halakha says, if you're not lighting at the optimal time, then you would first pray Arvit, and then light the Chanukah candles. Why? Because Arvit has the concept of Tadir V'Sheno Tadir Kodem. It's more frequent, it comes more often. And once you're losing out on the element of Pirsum Hanes based on the Rambam, the Tadir, the more frequent mitzvah, takes priority. So just to keep it simple, ideally we try to pray Arvit first, and then rush home and light at nightfall. That way we achieve both of the most lechatchila routes. What if you're stuck in the city, you're stuck at work in the office, you're not capable of lighting at the most optimal time, 4:30, 4:45, whatever it is, based on the different achronim? Then halacha would say you first have to pray Arvit, and then light the Chanukah candles, because once you miss that 30-minute window, Pirsum Hanes is no longer an option, and now Tadir takes precedence again, and whatever is more frequent, you have to do that first. That's just a quick synopsis of the halacha. Have a wonderful day, and Chanukah Sameach.